Hi guys, so today I have a new recipe for you, and I thought what better way to celebrate fall than to make cinnamon rolls.
I love cinnamon rolls!
And so this is what we're going to be doing today. This is a very easy recipe. The dough is very similar to my pizza dough. Yeah, I'm just going to show you how to do it, and we're just going to enjoy some cinnamon roll this fall. What we're going to need is 1 1/4 cups of brown rice flour. Okay, so that's 1.
Yeah, Gabriel's looking at Bad Kitty Takes a Bath. It's the only Bad Kitty book that we actually have.
Okay, I need to tell them now what ingredients they need, okay?
Okay.
1 1/4 cup of brown rice flour. 1/4 cup of sweet rice flour. A 1/4 cup of potato starch, and I'm also preheating my oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. A 1/4 cup of potato starch. And a 1/4 cup of tapioca flour. So the flour portion is super easy. Everything is a 1/4 cup except for the brown rice flour is 1 1/4 cup. So that should be really easy to remember. I do want to make 2 different variations for today. I want to have one with fig jam, and I'm gonna heat this up a little bit so that it's easy for me to spread, because I thought it felt like, you know, kind of like a brioche, what do you call it, almost like a brioche dough with when you add sugar to it and sweetness. So that's what it reminded me of, and I thought, well, maybe it would work great with some fig jam in there, or maybe even date paste. Maybe I should try that too. Okay, so we're going to need also, before the sugar, let me just add the xanthan gum. 1 1/2 teaspoon of xanthan gum. 1 1/2. I did not put the full teaspoon. I added 1/2 teaspoon, so I just eyeball it. And 1 teaspoon salt. And a 1/4 cup of sugar. I'm just using regular white sugar, but I am going to be using brown sugar in the filling. Okay, so 1/4 cup of sugar. I'm just going to break up the lumps. We need 1 tablespoon of baking powder. It's not cooperating. That's it for the dry ingredients. Now I'm going to mix them so that they're well combined. You always want to mix your dry ingredients first before you add in your wet ingredients, to make sure they're well incorporated so that the dough comes out perfect. Now I'm going to add my egg. I'm going to make a well in the center, kind of like so. And there's no oil in this recipe. It's just eggs and milk. The fat from the milk is going to help with the texture of this dough. we don't need to add any oils to it. So I have already warmed my milk in the microwave, and we need 1 cup of milk. And as I'm pouring it, I'm just going to whisk it with the egg.
Zoom.
And then we're just going to mix everything together. Let me see if I can get you a little closer so that you guys can see what's happening in here. Okay. Oops. And I'm just making things fly everywhere. I'm just going to put this down now so that I can mix better. Oh, I know I chose a whisk, but I should have chosen a wooden spoon because it's starting to get hard. But I wanted to whisk in the egg. Okay, so we're just going to continue mixing it with a wooden spoon because it's going to combine like a dough right now. So let me show you what's happening here. As you can see, it's starting to stiffen up. So this is going to allow us to work with the dough and roll it like we would a wheat dough. Not exactly the same, but you'll see what we'll be doing. And if you have made my gluten-free pizza dough, then you know how this is like. It's very similar. There are only a few differences between this and my gluten-free pizza dough. You just kind of want to mix it really well, just to make sure that everything is really well combined. It takes maybe 1 to 2 minutes until it starts forming into a ball, like so, and it kind of collects itself. And it's really interesting when you mix it, even though it has no oils in it, it doesn't stick to the bowl. I think it's probably all the starches that are in it that give it this texture. Alright, so I think it's good enough. I'm just going to grab my silicone mat. And I'm just going to put the dough right on it. Okay, and I'm going to try to shape it into sort of a rectangle right now with the help of this, whatever it is, spoon, spatula, whatever it is, wooden spatula.
You know, that knife looks like it would help better.
Okay, and I'm going to spray the surface of the dough with some oil. I'm using here coconut spray. Oh, and I forgot. And my rolling pin also. I just take my hand and smear it all over it.
Look at this big.
I'm gonna wash my hands. Okay, so we're just going to roll it to the size of this. Of the silicone mat. It's probably like 9 by 13 or something. I don't know. I don't roll it all the way to the ends. And so the dough is going to end up like about 1/4 inch in thickness, sticking to it. I prefer the regular oil spray instead of this coconut spray. I'm just going to try to spray some more. This is the first time I use this. I thought, oh, maybe this is healthy.
Are those shark fins?
I know it seems like a lot, but it really isn't a lot.
Those shark fins, yes, really? They're all coming towards the dog.
I feel like these oil sprays, although they might be good for our health, they're not good for our lungs. because the oil is ending up in our lungs. And then what I do, because I'm a perfectionist, here, let me just show you first. Okay, so what I do, because I like everything to be perfect, I take my knife and I cut the edges, and then I put them where I think they need to be.
Here,
because I want it to be perfectly square, or I mean perfectly rectangle. And sometimes I just put it back in the middle and then roll it a little bit if there is no place that needs any filling. It's super easy. It doesn't require a lot of time, but I don't know why sometimes I just avoid making it. In my head it seems like a lot more work than it actually is. I don't know why. It really is super easy. And you have cinnamon rolls. I mean, who doesn't want gluten-free cinnamon rolls, right? Okay, so I'm just gonna roll the rest a little bit if I can, if they let me. Come on, guys, don't stick.
You're making a bad book.
Okay, there you go. Seriously?
That's hard to read.
I feel like it's just better to press it with my hands. I don't know. I really don't like this spray on for rolling. I mean, it's good for cooking with, but not for rolling. That's okay. Alright, it doesn't matter if it's not perfect on the inside, right?
Freeze your eye out.
I really can't roll it in there. That's okay. Alright, I'm gonna wash my hands. So this part I actually never measured. I'm going to try to measure it for you, just so that I can write the recipe for you guys. We're going to need some brown sugar, and I suggest you do use brown sugar because it really adds a lot more flavor. Oh, and here I'm making this. Than regular white sugar. And if you get brown sugar and it's hardening on you, instead of leaving it in its bag, you would want to put it in a sealed container, airtight container, so that it doesn't harden up on you. So I'm going to see how much I'm going to need. We're going to start putting the brown sugar in here, and we're going to leave on the other end about 1 inch free of any brown sugar on the long side, so that when we roll it to put it together, it would stick together and it wouldn't come apart. Gabriel? Okay, so this is going to be painful, so I'm going to take it and put it in a little bowl.
How?
Because I can't take it out of this. Okay, so this is what I'm going to do. Okay, so I'm just leaving about 1 inch of space on the other side. Like so. I like to do the edges first. Okay, I'm gonna add another ½ cup. Yep, 1 cup I think is perfect. I'm just gonna grab a tiny bit more, maybe like a tablespoon or so. And I also don't measure my cinnamon, but I'm going to do this for you also. So I have here a tablespoon, and we're gonna see how much cinnamon. I usually just take this and sprinkle some cinnamon over this and call it good. Okay, so I have a strainer, a fine mesh strainer right here, and I'm just gonna put the cinnamon right in it. And I'm gonna use it to sprinkle so that I don't put a whole lot in one place. I think a tablespoon was perfect, maybe a little bit too much, but we'll see when we bake it. Okay, so now for rolling it, that's where you're going to need your silicone mat. And I will be putting the link down for all these things that I'm using right here, including the flours that I use, so that you guys can get them if you don't have them. So what I do is I just take my silicone mat, fold it gently over this, and gently take it and unroll it. This part is stuck a little bit, not really, but sort of. Okay, and we're just going to keep doing this. So you could also use your fingers. I mean, this dough is pretty good, but you have to be super gentle with it. I love this dough. I think it's just perfect. So as you can see, let me bring it closer a little bit. It's just super easy. Like I said, you just have to be gentle, and then the ends seal up pretty well. I'm going to move it to the middle. Alrighty. Just lift it gently. And then you see right here, I kind of lost some sugar. I don't know if, yeah, so I'm just going to take this sugar and cinnamon and just stuff it back in here. We don't want any casualties, right? So I have another silicone mat right here laid on my pan. And these silicone mats come in a set of 3, 2 of this size and then 1 small size. And I find them really handy. I just love them. So I'm just going to take a sharp knife. Just put these away first. And I'm going to cut about, how thick did I make them last time? Let's see. 2-inch thick. Okay. So 1, 2, like so. 1, 2. Just don't cut the silicone mat. It's really easy to cut them. They feel so nice, like pillows. I love this. Okay, this one is just gonna be a tiny bit smaller. Oh no, it's gonna be a small cinnamon bun. Cinnamon roll. Cinnamon. Okay, and so I just take them and I hold it by the seam. Okay, and I'm going to put it right here on the tray, and I'm going to put them about 1/2 inch apart, like so. Here, look. Like so. That's a nice thing about working with gluten-free products, that you don't have to wait for them to rise. You just put them in the oven right away, because I'm impatient. So that's how they look like. And then I just take my fingers and my hand and I just gently press on them like so. I'm just gonna bring them a little closer. This one and this one. Okay, like so. And then we're going to put them in the oven at 350 degrees Fahrenheit from 12 to 15 minutes, or until they're like light golden brown and you see all the sugar and the syrup just melting and all that stuff. And meanwhile, we're going to prepare the glaze, and I don't have powdered sugar, and we're going to be putting them on the middle rack also. Now what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to work on the second batch and make it out of fig jam and see how that's going to turn out. I'm going to need to heat up my fig jam. Now I'm going to start on my second batch. Same thing. You guys can just watch. Okay, so as you can see, our cinnamon rolls look really good, and I'm going to take them out of the oven right now, and then I'm going to top them with some butter. What the butter does is it helps them stay soft and not harden up on the top. And you don't want to touch them with your hands right now because they're super hot and you'll burn yourself. I'm going to keep my oven going because I have another one that I'm working on. And you could just double the quantity in the first place, but I just wanted to show you the recipe for one batch of cinnamon buns. You know, if you're just wanting to make a small quantity, you don't have to make a full pan of this, right? Smear it on top like so. I wish I could hold the stick of butter. I find that a lot easier, but we do what we can, right? And you don't want to skip this step. This is not only going to add flavor, but it's also going to help them stay soft on the edges, because they tend to harden a little bit on the edges, a tiny bit, you know, but actually they're super soft everywhere else. And I have warmed up my fig jam already. I'm going to grab, I would say probably about a cup of this. So I have here a cup of the fig jam. I think that if I probably ran this in the food processor and put some water with it, or something like that, that would have probably made it a lot easier to spread. Maybe next time. So, I mean, because they do have big chunks in here, that makes it much harder to spread. I think that is part of what makes this fig jam so delicious. I think that's pretty good. Like I said, I think if I ran this in the food processor, I would have, with some water, I would have been able to spread it a whole lot easier. But I didn't think of that. Been a lot lot better if I had powdered sugar, but that's what I have right now, and that's okay. And that's your cinnamon roll. Yep, try it and let me know what you think. And then meanwhile, we're waiting on our fig rolls to come out also. And like I said, you could also do this with date jam, with maybe raspberry jam, I mean with the date paste, with raspberry jam, whatever you can think of. And maybe you could even add like some cream to it, you know, like those, what do you call them? I don't even know what, whoopie pies? I have no idea what they're called. You know, like you could make it with chocolate and cream or whatever it is in cream, and they would taste awesome.
Cinnamon rolls.
No.
Nom, nom, nom. Can I eat it now? Can I?
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Okay guys, that's it for today. I hope you liked today's video, and I hope you try this recipe, and I think it's really good. My kids love it, everyone loves it, and I love it even though I don't like sweets. And so yeah, please subscribe if you want to see more of these videos, and like this video if you do like it. Just hit the like button, and I'll see you again later in the next video. And yeah, one more thing, share this video. Share it so that other people would know that they can cook gluten-free food like regular, you know, food, and they can enjoy it too. So I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I'll see you again in the next episode. Bye.